like to call the July 11th, 2022 Bristol, Virginia School Board to order. Let's stand and say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight. All right, item 1B, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I move that we approve the agenda.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Ms. Jones?
Mr. Fletcher,
Yes.
Ms. Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Mr. Goodpasture,
Yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
Mr. Alvis.
Yes. Item 2, superintendent's report. Dr. Perigin?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. First and foremost, we have had an adjustment to our sound system. So, Mr. Goodpasture, Ms. Forbes Hubbard, are we doing better?
Yes.
Mr. McGee, sounded much better. And I hope that everything's working online, but I'm sure somebody will let you know, Jeff, if it's not. So, thank you, Jeff, for getting that worked on, and it sounds like. Thank you, Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew and Jeff.
All right, good deal. Now, everybody will have to be very careful about what they say into the mics now because everything can be heard. So just keep that in mind.
Now you tell us.
I will tell you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, that employees have really been thrilled as they've picked up their new contracts that we started issuing late last week. Thank you very much for prioritizing salaries and benefits as we develop this budget and truly prioritizing that as you set board goals over the last 5 years. Since I came to BVPS 5.5 years ago, our starting teacher salary has went from $36,000 in 2017 to this year it will be at $45,149. That's over a 25% increase over the last 5 years, and at least $5,000 more at the starting rate than many other local school divisions in Southwest Virginia. We've even exceeded Bristol, Tennessee with their starting salary as well. They do pay better at some points in the scale, but at the beginning of the scale and at the end of the scale, we are even paying our teachers better now than our neighbors across the street. So just to put that in perspective, over 30 years, if a teacher comes to us at the beginning of their career and stays with us throughout the end of their career, they'll make at least $110,000 more with us than they will with any other school division in Southwest Virginia. That's pretty phenomenal. And so, Ms. Jones, thank you for your work in making that happen, but for the board and making that a focus over the last 5 years.
That's great. That agrees the skids for IB.
There you go. Yes, sir. Our leadership team had a phenomenal retreat there in the last week of June. We had an opportunity to review our successes from last year and also the challenges that we'll continue to face and to begin setting the course for the work that we have to do in the upcoming year. I'm also I know that I've shared this with you guys in some updates, but we're thrilled to announce that we have officially received a $230,000 grant from the Jean Ann Foundation to help start and sustain the child care program that you approved last year to be offered at Virginia High School. The Jean Ann Foundation continues the work started years ago by Jean and Ann Worrell to make Bristol a good place to live. We're also excited to share that all the spots for this program for 3-year-olds, that's the first time we've offered preschool for 3-year-olds, have already been filled. So really excited about the support that we've received from the Jean Ann Foundation and the interest we've had in our community in this program. Speaking of the Child Care Center, we now have the completed drawings from Thompson and Litton, and work has already started on the restroom renovations at Virginia Middle School and Virginia High School. If you get a chance and you swing by there, go in and take a look. Those are going to be a phenomenal space as well. Depending on whether or not we get the steel shipment for the frames, those bathrooms we hope will be ready by the time school starts. If not, Mr. Collins is already planning on some alternative plans in case that we are delayed because of the steel. The safety vestibule at Virginia High School and the Child Care Center will not be complete by then, unfortunately. However, we do hope to have those completed early in the fall. And then finally, I would say that, it's the time of year that we need to discuss our school board retreat. Mr. Alvis already has that written down. And so maybe at a new business at the end of the meeting or at another time that you feel appropriate, we can get that meeting set. We have a lot to celebrate from this year, but also a lot to plan and prepare for next year. Mr. Chairman, that is my report.
Thank you, Dr. Parrish. Any comments or questions? At the end of the meeting, when we do the old new business, we'll talk about the retreat.
I'd just like to commend everyone on the work for the salaries. I mean, in 5 years, that's remarkable. That's great.
Yeah, you have a spreadsheet there that compares us to some other school divisions, not only on an annual basis, but on a lifetime basis. And that's a pretty significant impact for our families and employees. And I will tell you, it's not, I just use teacher salaries in my comments tonight, but you can look at our clerical, you can look at our bus driver salaries, you can look at our cafeteria salaries, all across the board. We are now very, very competitive all across our region.
Great.
And that's good to see, just compared to Bristol, Tennessee, which, is a competitor in drawing the top-notch teachers. I mean, we are close. We are close. There's about maybe 10 or 12 years in between. There's a little bit of a gap, but after that.
Yeah, if you look at the top of the scale there, teachers that, we have the best salaries at the top of the scale of anybody around.
Yeah.
And at the bottom. In the middle, there are some adjustments, but I think we've got a pretty good salary scale.
Yeah. It's really good. I know the years I've been on the board, we've come a long way. Come a long way. All right, any other comment? Let's see, item 3 is public comment. I don't have any cards, and I think everybody's good with where they're at. All right, item 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I'd move we approve the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpasture,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Alvis.
Yes. All right, moving right along. Action items. Action item 5A, approval of scheduling of board meetings for August 2022 through January of 2023.
Mr. Chairman, typically this time of year, we set our full board calendar schedule. However, with the change in the election cycle for elections to be held in November, we're recommending the schedule between now and January where we potentially could have some new members to the board.
Okay.
And so we do recommend this calendar for your approval until January.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve the calendar.
Second.
Any dates on here that are issues?
They're all good with me.
Anybody knows?
All good.
No discussion, we'll take a vote. Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpasture,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Alvis.
Yes. All right, action item 5B, approval of resolution, clean school bus program.
Mr. Chairman, we have the intention to apply for a grant to purchase an electric school bus. In order for us to submit our application, we have to have the approval of our board to do so. There are several grants that are out there. This is one that we're looking at, and we have also had some preliminary discussions with BVU about installing charging stations.
Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the resolution.
Second.
Open for discussion.
whose chassis is the electric bus?
I know this is through Volkswagen. I have no idea who the chassis, if the chassis is made by Volkswagen or not, but I
Okay,
can find
so
out.
how, we don't know anything about that, and so we don't know who could work on it. I know this much. The batteries are extremely heavy. You got to have a service department that can put a jack under the battery to bring it down and replace it if necessary. I'm not sure, you know, about this electric thing on buses and medium-duty trucks. How big of a bus is it?
It is a normal passenger school bus. I would assume
60?
64 passenger.
Mm-hmm. And, but we don't know if it'll pull the hills and stuff around here either.
We do know some neighboring divisions have already put those into use, and they're having success with those.
How much money do we have to put up?
It depends on how much of the grant we're awarded. The grant is supposed to offset a majority of the cost, or at least indefinitely a majority of the increased cost of purchasing a traditional bus.
I'm sorry, are you saying we putting up any money or not?
Well, we don't know. We don't know that we get the grant. Once we get the grant, then we'll make the decision on whether or not we buy the bus based on the amount of grant that's awarded.
Okay, so we're talking about a grant instead of a bus.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
There's a typo. It says Bristol, Virginia instead of Virginia.
Yeah.
It's my only comment.
Virginia. And I'm curious about the charging stations too. I watched Washington County build their stations up, charging stations up there, not knowing what they were until I saw the buses come in, and they were, you know, the Bluebird buses have the little Bluebird on the side of the bus, and these are green and say and have Echo on them. So, you know, I'm curious about, you know, the battery life, the charge life of the battery, and you know, if it's something we would be using for trips or just local, and also the charging stations. How much BVU doesn't do that? How much are we looking at for that as well? So.
Right, yeah, and that's part of it. I will tell you, Mr. Buckles has not been real enthused about applying. These grants have been out for a couple years. He's not been real enthused about applying for the grant until diesel prices started doing what they're doing. And I think now, as he's looking at his budget and the potential impact if those gas prices stay where they are or even get higher, I think that is a big concern for him as he's starting to look at that part of his budget. Not that one bus would make a huge difference in that, but at least looking at different alternatives.
We need an adequate extension cord to go with it.
So
I'll be honest, the way this was written, I really did not understand that this was for an electric bus. I thought this was for keeping our existing buses clean. I mean, it never in here says it's for an electric battery-powered bus. But whatever. Either way, if it's for a grant, I guess it's okay. We'll wait and see what happens.
Well, you got to get the precious metals for the battery.
any other discussion or comment? Ms. Jones?
I'm okay with going for the grant just to see what it looks like.
Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpasture,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Alvis.
Yes. All right, item 6, discussion items. 6A, school construction update.
I'm going to see Stephen, which one you're going to pull up first. How about morning traffic pattern?
Yeah, I never understood those either.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, I think, as you know, the road, it's actually not a road, it's two cul-de-sacs that are joined together by a driveway at the end of the Van Pelt parking lot, and it connects to Colony Circle on the other side. Once construction is complete, the grade work will go from the existing level of the property at Van Pelt, which think of the tennis courts, and that will become level all the way out to the edge of our property line. And the drop off from there to what is now Colony Circle will be about 17 foot. And so the cost to grade that to make those two roads continue to connect is really not feasible. So that road is temporarily closed and is going to be used for an emergency only access so that we have multiple ways in and out until the new road is built. And while we're waiting for that new road to be built, we are going to have to change our morning and afternoon drop-off and drop-off and pickups. And if you'll follow the blue arrows here, this is coming in from Grandview, so you can come in and come up to the west side of the building. We are going to change our drop-off to the west side of the building. Mr. Buckles is going to build a sidewalk from the road to the side doors, and then parents, after they drop their kids off there, will turn right down the hill and go out the back way, and they can circle back around and exit the neighborhood either direction that they want to. Buses will be coming up the hill the same way the parents are coming down. We'll make that short loop, drop off students, and then go back down the hill. That is our plan for the morning drop-off. We have ran this by Mr. Main with the city, and he does support this. We will be adding signage and communicating with parents to let them know about this very significant change to our morning patterns. Stephanie, if you will, let me do the afternoon as well, and then I'll come back and answer questions about either, if so. Or Tammy, I'm sorry, I didn't. So the afternoon pattern will be kind of similar, except if you'll remember, after we changed our start and end times at the elementary school and the high school, buses now all load at the very end of the day at Van Pelt. So we will queue our buses up where you see the yellow arrows there. When school is dismissed, those buses will load and leave, and that will end all bus transportation at Van Pelt for the afternoon. Cars will line up, coming up the same way on the west side of the building. They will be in single file line until you see the red X. That is right behind where the cars park. And then as they go into the circle there, we will start to double the lines so that we can get more students out in a shorter period of time. This is very similar to what we do now, except for the tail of that line goes out the east side of the parking lot towards Colony Circle. We will, as we get closer to the start of the school year, we will communicate with neighbors that this will potentially affect. We will be communicating with parents, asking them as their cars are queued up not to park in front of the neighbors' driveways in case neighbors are trying to get out of their homes at that time. And this will be a temporary solution because the car rider line will move to the new road once it is complete, and early estimates for that are in October.
The tan area, that represents the completed school?
No, that's the current Van Pelt.
That's Van Pelt.
That's the current Van Pelt, yeah. The new school was not pictured in this part of it. It would be out to the east.
Are teachers or whoever that is still going to be parking along that street?
No. That is the Exhibit C, which is coming up next about parking. So,
I just, as a neighbor on the other side, I've certainly had multiple occasions where I've been unable to get out of my driveway because school parents would not allow me to get out when I'm trying and have yelled at me about school traffic. So it would be very nice to make sure that we communicate very well, to let people out of their driveways to prevent neighbor frustration, because that'll be traffic they're not used to seeing.
yes, and so we will communicate that with parents. We are going to communicate the new plan with the neighbors through a visit, but I think that I've made you aware we have set up a link on our website where neighbors in the Van Pelt, any of our neighbors in the Van Pelt area can sign up to have updates. We've already sent out one update about closing the road. We'll be sending another update later in the week about the blasting schedule for the following week, and we will continue to update our neighbors about those issues in person when we need to, but we do have a sign up for neighbors to use so that they can get that updated information. One of the next things that we'll be sending out via that update is they're in the process, as soon as they get the needed technology, they will be putting up 2 24-hour-a-day cameras to show the progress of the work, and so we'll be sharing that with the general public, but especially with our neighbors in the Van Pelt area as well. We have not made this plan public. We wanted to make sure the board was aware of that and had an opportunity to provide input before we did. If you do see something that doesn't make sense or something that you think we could tweak to make this work better, we'd certainly love to hear that. Otherwise, later this week, we'll publish this on our website and make this our official plan and make sure parents have plenty of notice about the changes.
So what I'm not, if you have a child who is you have 2 or 3 kids and they're split up between the 2 schools, that's what worries me about this traffic pattern.
This traffic pattern will not be used when the new school is built. As a matter of fact,
Now?
this is just until
Okay,
October,
okay.
until the new road is built. Once the new road is built, we will move the car rider line to the west end of the building.
Good luck on that one.
I'm still a little confused
Yes, sir.
about the morning car traffic drop-off.
Tammy, if you'll go back to yes.
So they're going to be dropped off on the corner, and then they have to cross the street?
So as parents come on the blue arrows, what typically happens is we'll have 7 or 8 employees that'll be, typically they're waiting right here.
Right.
And as parents, they pull up, 7 employees will go to 7 doors, open the car doors, get the kids out, push them in, not push them in.
Yeah.
Get them where they're going, shut the car doors, those 7 cars move, the next 7 cars pull up. Employees open the door, 7 kids out, boom, next 7 cars. We'll be doing the same thing here with as many cars as we can load there. We'll,
Unload.
7 employees unload the cars, walk the kids across the street. There'll be a sidewalk here for students to walk into the end of the building.
Okay.
And then the parents will turn down the hill.
So there'll be no opposing traffic for them to cross?
Absolutely. Buses will come down this way.
That's why the buses are turning right
Absolutely,
there.
so that we
Okay.
have they're not crossing traffic as they go.
Okay.
So are you going to tell the neighbors they can't turn left out of their driveways?
3 of them.
I mean, I don't think that's like the worst thing in the world, but they might not be
2 of
very
'em.
happy about that.
Right. Yeah,
I don't know what
that's
their schedules are,
Great,
but,
great point. One
Yeah.
of them happens to
7:30
be
to
my
8 they can't
uncle. So
Well, you
I
got
think I
that
can talk
covered
him
then.
into it. I think we'll be okay there.
Hey.
So,
Turn right.
Right turn on. I don't think that would work.
that's a good question.
Well,
Yeah, I'll tell you, when we had increased car riders at Van Pelt because of lower bus routes during COVID, we really had to rearrange the way that we did our morning drop-off and afternoon pickup. And after a week or so, I mean, they've got it down to a science. I mean, they can run folks through there
Yes.
in a hurry.
okay.
Any other questions about the drop-off pickup patterns? Okay.
That'll work.
Now, temporary parking. So, we anticipate a lot of things that occur, and we're planning for a lot of things. One of the things that we also anticipate are surprises. So we have had one surprise so far. When we had the pre-construction meeting, we thought that the layout yard where they're going to have their supplies and their work area was going to be in one portion of the parking lot. After it was all laid out, we saw that we had lost about 30 parking spots we weren't planning on losing. So currently, we have about 5 parking spaces too few to house if every employee, we have employees that work 3 days a week or whatever, but if every employee is working on the same day, we're short about 5 parking spots. And so we met with the construction team this morning about how we can make a temporary parking lot to adjust that. Once the new school is built, we're going to triple the amount of parking that we have up there. We're going to have ample parking there. But in the meantime, we are going to be short parking spots. And so the plan for that is we're going to add in this area, which is right here is Van Pelt, and we've got the island that where everybody circles, and you'll remember there's a little grassy area here and another grassy area here. Those are not going to be needed when the new school is built. So our plan is we're going to grade that grassy area out, grade that out, have some gravel. That will get us about 18 additional spots, they think, right here. And then on the front corner up here, that's not a flat area, but it is level enough that we can get some parking. We don't know how many spots that we can get there, but we're going to have that by the end of the week. And this will all be taken care of before August 10th when teachers come back.
And I guess we can't put any back there where they do the cafeteria drop-off because they need the truck space?
Back
Yeah,
this area?
like where those parking spots are now by the playground?
Right.
Yeah, we
right
can't put
here,
any
this is
more.
playground space.
Right, we can't put any more like on the side or on the other side
No,
next to the
because
building.
This is going to be a loop.
I just meant temporarily.
Well, they're going to start grading that loop
Oh,
next
okay.
week.
Okay.
Will this temporary, on the corner there, will that be gravel?
That will be gravel.
And then after it's done,
Depends
take
on
up the gravel?
Take up the gravel and put grass, or if it's parking that we think is usable, then we would end up paving that lot.
Okay. There again, I guess I'm thinking about the neighbors across the street maybe, but,
Right.
okay.
Yeah, maybe we put the grass back. Put the grass back at the end.
Trees.
Yes.
I
So-
will tell you that
community
on
garden.
nights when this will take care of our parking on a normal day, but we have those 3 or 4 nights a year where, it's a PTA a program, whatever, that it would, it'd be nice to have some additional parking. So I think as we get closer to opening the new school, I think we make a decision then about whether we continue to allow that to be parking or if we put it back in grass.
You said the road will be through in October?
They anticipate the road being complete.
So school events at Van Pelt, programs and stuff for parking with parents, will we have anything before the road is finished?
Well, if that happens, we will probably have to take advantage of some of our grassy areas if we have any programs before October.
People could also park along Colony, along where the road's closed and walk up, if it's in the evening too, probably, if they wanted to.
And we're always very resourceful, whether it's, thinking about the Bearcat bandwagons, we could also have families park somewhere and shuttle them in on a bus.
I was just thinking Noah could earn some money parking in their yard,
Great idea.
While you got the map up there, it's off the subject, but what about the pickleball courts?
It's gone.
Huh?
Yeah, those are gone.
We're not going to do it.
There'll be a second grade classroom where those pickleball courts are, or a fifth grade classroom.
Where they were going to be.
So
They were going to be on the tennis courts up there.
So if you.
We voted for that.
Yeah,
That
but
was-
tennis courts are gone.
They weren't in any kind of shape for anything, though.
I want my money back.
If there was money spent on those,
Yeah,
I want to track
once
that down.
we saw that we were heading towards approval for the school to be built at Van Pelt, we backed off of improving the tennis courts there for pickleball purposes.
But there's 2 pickleball courts now at Virginia High on the older 2 tennis courts. They painted the lines.
Yep, and there's 3 at Stonewall Jackson, 2, yeah.
Yep. 2 nice ones at Stonewall Jackson.
I will tell you, the footprint of this school is a lot bigger than what I anticipated. Now, if you, so the footprint of the new school is going to go all the way out to this first set of parking spots, and then all the way back to the tree line. It is
The existing school is huge.
yeah. And the new school is bigger than that.
Do you know how long the burning of the trees is going to continue?
They are almost through with the tree work.
Okay.
You'll notice there's some logs there that are put out for lumber. We anticipate those will be taken instead of burned.
Okay.
But next week, they hopefully receive final approval of the actual grading plans today. And we hope that on July the 18th, they've really not moved dirt yet. It's all been tree work and, demolition of the building. And so once they have that approval, then they'll actually start grading, and they're going to grade the new road and the footprint of the building simultaneously.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Discussions, thoughts? All right, moving on. Discussion item 6B, school names, policy FFA.
Mr. Chairman, just wanted to bring this up at some point. We have already been asked throughout this process, whether it be for the closing documents or other purposes, what the name of the new school will be. We are calling it Bristol Intermediate as a placeholder. At some point, we will have to determine what the name of the new school will be. So I just wanted to bring our school naming policy to your attention so that you could be thinking through that. Happy to go over. The quick summary is you suggested names, or we recommend that the public make their recommendations to the board. You cannot be named after any person who is still alive, and if you're going to name it after a person, they must have been deceased for at least 10 years. And I believe that is a real quick summary.
I think a name is a non-starter. I mean, every one of our elementary schools goes to the 5th grade, isn't that correct?
When the new model comes on board, every Bristol, Virginia school student will attend the same primary school, the same intermediate school, the same middle school, and the same high school.
When did we come up with this intermediate tag?
Whenever we first started talking about building the school on the Van Pelt property.
But it's not in the state regulations or anything.
Well, if we were to do just one school, we would lose a lot of state funding because funding for, say, principals and school counselors are based on schools.
My point is that every elementary school we've had and what we have now goes to the 5th grade, and there's no intermediate talk about that. So if we got a bigger school that's going to encompass all the students that were in the other 3, then it's Van Pelt. Why do we need to change a name?
Well, because the existing Van Pelt Elementary will be a school that houses pre-K, kindergarten, and first.
That's just the building. You've added to the building. You've added to the footprint.
The buildings.
So it's one school. It's Van Pelt.
Well, the buildings are not connected, and if you do name that just one school, you're going to lose a lot of state funding because funding follows the school. So every school gets a principal. Every school up to a certain size gets an assistant principal.
Okay, you meet those regulations, but by the same token, it's one school in reality.
Well, I don't think that's the way that we made those decisions moving up to this point, but certainly I will do whatever the board tells me to do. But up to this point, we've talked about a primary school, an intermediate school, a middle school, and a high school.
Careful.
It's on the same property, but it's 2 separate buildings, 2 separate groups of kids, 2 separate groups of funding.
Administration.
2 different sets of administration. I mean, it's no different than, if Virginia High School and Virginia Middle was on the same school property, you'd still have high school students, you'd have middle school students, you'd have separate administrations. It's no different. Just elementary kids instead of, they're on the same property. We're going to name it. It's going to have to be named. We're going to name it. I mean, that's going to happen. So we'll deal with that down the road.
I think I was mentioning this to my kids tonight, and they immediately started jumping up with names, and my son wrote a little speech that he's going to email to you all because he doesn't want to come give it. But I think we certainly want to get public input, but I think it'd be fun to solicit input from our students that are going to go to this school too, because they have a lot of ideas. like Baby Yoda Elementary was a front runner. But I think that'd be a fun opportunity too, to look at some Bristol residents we could honor, or look at some, things that really speak to our kids.
In anticipation.
Yeah.
I've already missed that opportunity. He's already missed that opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Any other discussion, comments?
Save my breath.
Let's see. That takes us to closed session. Mr. Fletcher? You want to read us in?
Pursuant to Section 2.23711A1 of the Code of Virginia, I move that the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following matters: discussion of certain personnel, recommendation for employment, and resignations.
Have a second?
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpasture,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Alvis.
Yes. All right, we'll move to closed session.
Why are we going to not Mr. or Mrs.?
Mr. Fletcher, would you read us back in?
Okay. The Bristol, Virginia School Board certifies that, to the best of each member's knowledge, only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were discussed in the closed meeting, and only such public matters as were identified in the motion convening the closed meeting were considered.
Have a second?
Second.
Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpaster. White,
Yes.
Alves.
Yes. Do I have a motion to approve attachment A?
I move we approve attachment A.
Second?
Motion is second. Any discussion? Ms. Jones?
Fletcher,
Yes?
Forbes Hubbard,
Yes.
Goodpaster.
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Mr. Alves.
Yes. Old and new business, we need to set up, figure out a time we can do our board retreat. If you can get your calendars out,
Where are we going this year?
I would say just back up to Waldo Miles.
Yeah. Agree. Unless we want to go back to Lakeview Dock.
And the thunderstorms.
Where are we gonna have this?
When are we scheduling that?
Where did you say we're?
Do I?
That's what we're trying to
Okay, do we have any choices as to
Oh, by
when
the
the?
pool?
You go, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's just wide open. I want to, we need to do it, I think we should do it 1st of August. I can't do it in July.
I can't do it 1st of August.
You can't do
I'm
it
out of
first?
town.
How about the middle of August? Middle of August?
During the week sometime?
Yeah, it'll be during the week, yeah. It'd be in the afternoon, it'd be in the evening. Typically start about 6 o'clock and,
Kind of like we did last year.
yeah. Mhm.
Something to think about. It would, what about the second week of August, maybe August 8th or 9th? Teachers come back on the 10th. That way we don't set any plans with our teaching staff that y'all haven't approved ahead of time, or that y'all haven't recommended ahead of time.
I think that's better. I may not be here the third week of August.
Let's see.
Gary, we will also have new teacher orientation beginning the 8th.
Oh, 8th and 9th. I just had the 9th.
We do it 2 days, but I mean, the 8th will be the day.
Looking back, what about the last week of July? Is there a date on the last week of July?
I could do Monday or Tuesday, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm in a training in Blacksburg.
When is our next meeting? What date?
August 1st?
August 1st.
Oh.
August 1?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm out of town.
July 25, 26, 27, I could do.
There's two. 25th or 26th of July, can you do that?
25th of July?
25th or 26th of July?
26th,
The 26th would be better for me, but I can do the 25th if we need to.
it's Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, that'll work.
Casino's closed Monday.
No, it's not.
I know,
It's open 24/7.
I know.
Are you good either one of those days? How about the 26th?
I go in and have a few passes on the craps table before I go to work.
6th.
The 26th on Tuesday? Does that work for everybody?
Oh, you're back in July.
Yeah, I'm back in July, yeah.
I was up in August. Yeah, I'm cool on that.
So we do July 26th at 6 o'clock.
Sugar Hollow.
See if the shelter, the pavilion's about, yeah, Waldo Miles.
If Gary and I will have a report prepared for our progress towards the goals you set last year.
Okay.
We'll have some ideas about goals that we would recommend for next year. If you'd like to add to that,
Okay.
let me know ahead of time and we'll add that to the list.
Randy White will bring all the food.
We'll start at 6 and I'll get in touch with y'all about food. Anybody have anything else? All right, meeting adjourned.
Yeah, oh yeah, us too.